They stuffed her body in a Hello Kitty mermaid doll to hide the evidence. Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be covering the Hello Kitty murder. Now this case is very popular, you may have heard of it, and it is also a lot, so we're just going to jump straight into it. This case took place in Hong Kong, 1999, and the victim that we're talking about is Fan Man-Yee, who was 23 at the time of the case. Fan Man-Yee did not have a great childhood. She was in an orphanage until she was 15. She then ended up homeless on the streets and had to turn to prostitution for money, and she also quickly became a drug addict. Fan Man-Yee started working at a brothel and then eventually became a dancer at the Empress Karaoke nightclub. In 1966, she ended up marrying one of her clients who was also a drug addict. She ended up having 2 sons with him, but their relationship was not great. It was abusive, and even neighbors reported hearing them screaming all night. It was just not a good situation for her. However, in 1977, she got a job at the Romance Villa in Kowloon, and this is where she met Fan Man-Yee, who was 34 at the time. Fan Man-Yee was a member of the Triads, which was a Chinese organized crime syndicate, and he was also a drug dealer and drug addict. Now, him and his group of friends would all get high all the time, and they were just not a good group of people to be around, but Fan Man-Yee quickly fell into their group and became close with them. Now, one night, Fan Man-Yee steals Fan Man-Yee's wallet, and it is estimated that she stole around $4,000 from him. And when he finds out, he is not happy. Fan Man-Yee is pissed that she had the audacity to even steal from him. It's not really even about the money. He demands that she pays him back plus $10,000 interest. She tells him she will, but that she'll need time because that's a lot of money, and he's not satisfied with that. On March 17, 1999, Fan Man-Yee had 2 of his henchmen kidnap Fan Man-Yee from her apartment. These 2 men were Leung Shing-cho and Leung Wai-lan. Leung Shing-cho was 26 and Leung Wai-lan was estimated to be between 19 and 21 at the time. There was also a girl who helped them throughout all of this. She was 14 and she's known only as Ah Fong. She is said to have been one of the girlfriends of Fan Man-Yee, but given she was 14, she was most likely groomed into being his assistant. They take Fan Man-Yee back to their apartment, and she is held prisoner for about a month until about April of 1999, and she endures a lot. Now, Fan Man-Yee's plan is to prostitute her out to earn back the money that she stole from him. But during this time, they are also beating her, raping her, torturing her. And this is some of the stuff that they do to her. She was often hung up and used as a punching bag. She was hit with metal bars. She was kicked. She was beaten. She had her feet and legs burned, or she had plastic melted onto them. She would get stabbed with kitchen utensils. She was used as a toilet. She was forced to eat feces and urine. And they would also rub spices and other stuff into her wounds. And the other sick and twisted part is that they would make her smile throughout it and make her say that she enjoyed it. And if she didn't smile or didn't say it, they would beat her even more. Now, Ah Fong, the 14-year-old girl, actually enjoyed being a part of this, and she would gladly take part in the beatings and even laugh during it. When Ah Fong was later asked about it, she said, "It was a game they played. If she didn't pretend to be happy, they would beat her harder. They told her to smile while they burnt her. It was a fun atmosphere." Like, what? A 14-year-old girl calling that a fun atmosphere is crazy. They eventually stopped feeding Fan Man-Yee, and she became very malnourished and her body became very broken. And eventually clients stopped wanting to see her and they stopped paying, so the money stopped coming in. And when Ah Fong was asked about this, she said, "She was broken and playing with her wasn't so much fun after that. But we carried on anyway, there wasn't much else to do." So they continued beating on Fan Man-Yee even when she was already severely broken, and they would often lock her up in the bathroom whenever they had to go out. Somewhere in the middle of April of 1999, Fan Man-Yee succumbed to her injuries and passed away in their apartment in the bathroom. It was said that the captors were out while she passed away, and they came back, and Ah Fong went to use the bathroom and saw that Fan Man-Yee had passed away. Now, Fan Man-Yee had to figure out what to do, but he said, "We'll figure it out, but let's just go out right now." And apparently they went out for a few days and just left Fan Man-Yee there. Now they come back, they're all high on drugs, and Fan Man-Yee says, "I've got it, we've got to destroy her." So they take Fan Man-Yee's body and place her in the bathtub and begin to dismember her. When they've dismembered her, they start placing her body parts into pots to boil her. This is to get rid of the smell and help prevent the decay. Now, when they were boiling her head in a pot, they all decided that they were hungry and that they wanted lunch, so they started boiling noodles in another pot next to her head. and they even used the same spoon to stir both pots. Yeah, like they would stir the pot with their head and then take the spoon and stir the pot with their noodles. Sick. Anyways, they ended up keeping a tooth and a couple bags of organs, and they threw the rest of her away. And as for her skull, when everything else was melted away, they sewed her skull into the head of a Hello Kitty doll they had. Now, they avoided detection for about a month until Ah-Fong went to the police department and said that she was being haunted by a ghost. At first, they didn't believe her. They were like, okay. And then she told them that it was a ghost of a girl that she helped to kill. So now they're listening, and she tells them everything, and she even takes them to the apartment and shows them everything. She does end up testifying in exchange for complete immunity. When Ah-Fong was asked why they did all of this, she said, "I have a feeling it was for fun." Now, the trial lasted for 6 months, and multiple psychiatrists reported that all 3 men were completely remorseless about everything. But the issue was they didn't have an exact cause of death. They didn't know if her death was something done intentionally or if it was an accident and she just succumbed to her injuries. They couldn't decide if there was intent to kill her or not, so they could only charge the 3 men with manslaughter. I know, crazy, right? Even with the charges being reduced, all 3 men were sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. Peter Nguyen, the court justice, said, "Never in Hong Kong in recent years has a court heard of such cruelty, depravity, callousness, brutality, violence, and viciousness. The public is entitled to protection from people like you." Fan Man-Yee's husband also spoke out at the sentencing. He was glad that they were sentenced to life, but he also said, "How could I ever forget?" 20 years passed and there was no news of them being released on parole besides Leung Shing-cho, who somehow was able to get released in April 2014. However, he ended up back in jail in 2022 for groping a girl at a restaurant he worked at. Ah-Fong ended up being released into foster care, and there's not much else known about her since she was only 14 at the time. Anyways, that is the Hello Kitty murder case in all of its brutal detail. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments and what cases you'd like to hear about next. As always, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.